is CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Najahe Sherman, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories. We are following a developing story. The FBI arrested more than 10 suspects in connection with a drug smuggling operation. CBS News Miami's Yvonne Taylor's Aventura, where the feds raided a mansion.
One of those individuals was arrested here in the city of Aventura, and this is according to the FBI. Now, today at a press conference in LA, federal authorities confirmed that the raid that occurred in the early mornings of Wednesday in the area of 3914 Island Estates Drive in Aventura, in a gated community, was the result of a court-ordered law enforcement activity looking for a specific subject. The operation led to an arrest.
We reaffirm our commitment to the American people by dismantling a violent, organized crime network, trafficking large quantities of drugs into the United States, and orchestrating multiple homicides to eliminate their rivals.
Coming up at 5 p.m. on CBS News Miami, reaction from neighbors who live in this Aventura area where the arrest was conducted, especially after finding out who is the person who lived next to them. I'm in Aventura. Yvonne Taylor, CBS News, Miami.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
And taking a live look outside, it is a windy day across South Florida and another round of king tides. Next Weather Chief Meteorologist and Hurricane Specialist Ivan Cabrera has the look ahead.
Yeah, and it cooled off nicely here, upper 70s. A lot of cloud cover, though, and that's still with us. The wind advisory continues in effect until 8 o'clock for winds around 25 miles an hour. We've seen gusts in excess of 30 miles an hour. Right now, sitting at 32 there in Marathon, and upper 20s from Fort Lauderdale into Homestead. Clouds are thinning out a bit, right? So we've had this overcast sky for the most duration of the day. Now beginning to see nice breaks there, except for the Keys, still kind of locked in there with the canopy of cloud cover, and also even some light sprinkles here and there. Temperatures the upper 70s to lower 80s right now. The coolest morning lows and the coolest afternoon highs we've had since last spring. So that's something there. This morning temperatures really chilly. In fact, even at this hour, still in the 60s up in the Panhandle, but 39 degrees in Tallahassee, 49 in Jacksonville. So frigid stuff. And even in Central Florida, we survived here with lower 70s, a couple of upper 60s. But for the most part, really the wind is the story, and that's going to continue for the next few days. As far as the humidity, it's lower. It'll start creeping up a little bit the next few days. That same frontal boundary will kind of make a return for us here, and that will increase some rain showers as we head through tomorrow. You can see that on Next Weather rain tracker there between 6 a.m. and through the afternoon. A lot more coverage closer to the front down in the Keys, so that looks like a wet Friday, but for the most part, Miami-Dade and Broward will sneak in with just a few showers and a mostly cloudy sky. That would be about it. Looking better for the weekend. Both weekend days look pretty dry. There'll be a lot of clouds around, but Saturday morning, a few showers right along the coast. Otherwise, I think we'll dry throughout the day on Saturday. And Sunday looks good as well. As far as formation chances here in the tropical Atlantic, still a 30% chance. This feature here across the Western Caribbean looks a bit more organized and impressive now. It will still head to Central America, but that feature that we've been tracking over the Central Atlantic heading into the Bahamas the next few days, that's still rather disorganized, and there's been no change with our modeling here as we've been talking about. Those stiff upper level winds will shear it apart by the time we get into the weekend. So we're looking good. On the beach, the rip currents continue high. That is going to be a trend through the next few days. Small craft advisory will also be in effect throughout the remainder of the week because the gusty winds are going to be with us. And of course, we had that flooding that you may have seen this morning. I think we'll do it again. We're at a full moon cycle, literally today, the full moon this morning. And then those are the next times of potential flooding from high tides, from the king tides this time of year. It's our second round. We had our first round last month. As we check in on the forecast for tomorrow, upper 70s to around 80. Our rain chances staying about to 20 to 30%, and we'll keep it there. I mean, you see, the dry season is here with low rain chances and comfortable temperatures in the 80s.
Ivan, thank you. Today is the start of king tides, and already parts of Broward County are seeing the impacts. CBS News Miami's Ted Scouten is in Hollywood with more.
King tides hitting South Florida today. That water has already gone down as high tide has passed for the morning. Take a look at this video. This is from Hollywood Beach. This is the area south of Hollywood Boulevard, right there at A1A. A lot of the times that those intersections flood with salt water from king tide. Today, not so bad. Some of them did have standing water, but others were completely dry. So that's a good thing out there on Hollywood Beach. Now to Matheson Hammock Park in Coral Gables. You can see the parking lot completely flooded with water coming in from those high tides and the king tides. And that's impacting some people who are out there kite surfing.
It becomes a little dangerous, and we are not able to operate business as usual. So we basically have to put a stop on lessons. We're not able to rent and do our regular business.
And now to Fort Lauderdale. This is the Las Olas Isles area. Not looking so bad this morning when we were out there getting video. They've done a lot of work in that area to try to mitigate some of the flooding that they get from high tides and from king tides, like raising the seawalls. So some of that, those mitigation efforts appear to be working. Now, as far as these high tides and the king tides, they're expected to last throughout the weekend. The highest tide is going to be tomorrow morning, somewhere between 9 and 10:30, depending on where you are in South Florida. Also coming up at 5, we'll talk to residents to see what they do to try and deal with this. In Hollywood, Ted Scout, CBS News Miami.
Ted, thank you. The Israeli foreign minister says Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar has been killed by Israeli forces. Sinwar is considered the architect of the terror attacks on Israel on October 7th, 2023. He was killed in a raid in southern Gaza yesterday. We are going to have the very latest on the story coming up tonight at 5. New at 4, a man was rushed to the hospital after police say he was shot in Miami Gardens. It happened behind a Winn-Dixie store on Northwest 172nd Street. Police say the shooter left the scene and has not been found. The victim's condition is unknown. Right now, Swifties are counting down to the Eras Tour at Hard Rock Stadium this weekend. Chopper 4 was over stadium grounds, and you can see some fans showing up to get their hands on Taylor Swift merchandise. Time is running out because today is the last day. The store is open until 8 tonight, and you don't need a concert ticket to shop. There will be road closures around the stadium all 3 days starting tomorrow. It's during certain hours while Taylor is in town. Tomorrow between 10 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. big closures are in effect. The 2X ramp from the turnpike that gets you over to the stadium will be closed. Northwest 199th Street between Northwest 27th Avenue and Northwest 13th Court will also be closed. Both closures go into effect after each concert night from 10:30 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. If you are heading to the concert, Northwest 27th Avenue is the best way there from the Turnpike extension. When we come back, the music world mourning the tragic death of former One Direction band member Liam Payne. Now to the latest on the campaign trail. Polls show a very close race 19 days before Election Day. Both candidates are trying to appeal to voters beyond their base. CBS News Miami's Natalie Brand has the latest.
Vice President Kamala Harris crisscrosses the battleground state of Wisconsin today for multiple events. On Wednesday, she reached out to Republican voters, appearing in Pennsylvania alongside more than 100 members of the GOP.
No matter who you voted for last time, there is a place for you in this campaign.
She also sat down for a rare interview with Fox News, where she was pressed on immigration.
They need more resources, and Congress ultimately is the only place that's going to get fixed.
Former President Donald Trump is also looking beyond his base. He fielded questions from undecided Latino voters during a Univision town hall.
We're going to create a lot of jobs. We create jobs.
He defended January 6th.
That was a day of love from the standpoint of the millions. It's like hundreds of thousands.
And was asked about spreading false claims that Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, ate pets.
I was just saying what was reported. That's been reported.
Tonight, the former president will appear at the Al Smith dinner in New York City that benefits Catholic charities. It's a tradition for presidential candidates to attend, but Harris is skipping it. Her campaign says she's opted to spend more time campaigning in battleground states. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Tributes are pouring in from around the world. It is following the death of former One Direction band member Liam Payne. The 31-year-old singer died yesterday. Authorities say he fell from a hotel balcony in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Payne became a global sensation at just 16 years old. He was a member of One Direction. He pursued a solo career when the group broke up in 2016. In recent years, he spoke out about his struggles with severe suicidal thoughts and addiction.
It's such shocking news in so many ways. There was always something about him that made you think, even if this is a dark phase he's going through musically or personally or whatever, there will be future chapters for him. It seemed like he had a long way to go and a lot more to give the world.
Authorities are still investigating the circumstances of his death. This year's largest supermoon dazzled above Hong Kong yesterday. This supermoon, also known as the Hunter moon, occurred less than 11 hours apart from the moon's closest orbit to Earth. It's the largest full moon of the year, according to NASA. NASA says the moon will appear full for 3 days. That's your CBS News Miami Quickcast. I'm Najahe Sherman. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS News Miami, and have a great day.